हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज अक्षिता परमार। आज हम डेटा साइंस का टेस्ट 2 सॉल्व करेंगे। हमारा क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 है, राइट अल्गोरिथम फॉर डिसीजन ट्री इंडक्शन। डिसीजन ट्री इंडक्शंस क्या होते हैं? डिसीजन ट्री इज अ सुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग मेथड यूज्ड इन डेटा माइनिंग फॉर क्लासिफिकेशन एंड रिग्रेशन मेथड्स। ये स्पेशली यूज्ड होता है क्लासिफिकेशन और रिग्रेशन मेथड के लिए। इट इज अ ट्री दैट मेथड हेल्प्स अस in a decision making purpose. The decision tree creates classification or regression models as a tree structures. Decision tree algorithms. First step हमारी होती है begin the tree with the root node stage S which contains the complete data set. Second step होती है find the best attribute in the data set using attribute selection measure ASM. Third step होती है divide the S into subsets that contain possible values for the best attributes. Fourth step होती है generate the decision trees node which contains the best attribute. Fifth step Fifth step recursively make new decision tree using the subsets of the dataset created in the step 3. Continue this process until a stage is reached where you cannot further classify the nodes and called the final node as a leaf node. Decision tree use multiple algorithms to decide to split a node into a two or more subnodes. The algorithm selection is also based on the type of target variables. Let us look at some algorithms used in decision trees. First, ID3, extension of D3, builds decision tree using a top-down greedy search approach. C4.5, successor of ID3, CART, classification and regression tree, CHAID, child square automatic interactions detections performs multi-level slips when computing classification trees. MARS, multivariate adaptive regression guidelines. Question number second है, what is attribute selections measure? Explain three of them. Solutions. Attribute selections measure, also known as feature selections criteria or slip criteria, are used in decision tree algorithm to determine the best attribute to split the data at each node. First method होती है हमारी random selections. Not a good method. Random selection not a good method. It can be lead to inquiry and may give wrong results. That why it is not preferred to use this method. Second matter, using information gain. Gain is based on the concept of entropy from information sharing. Entropy measures the uncertainty or disorder in a set of examples. Information gain is the reductions in entropy or the gain in information by selecting a particular attribute of sleeping. Node with the lowest entropy and the more information gain is selected in a splitting attributes. Third method is using Gini index. The Gini index is a measure of impurity. It represents the probability in incorrectly classify an instance in a dataset. A lower Gini index indicates a purer data. A lower Gini impurity indicates a purer node and the node is selected as splitting attributes. Third question है हमारा, define and write mathematical expressions of information gain, gain index, reduction in impurity. First है हमारा information gain. Information gain क्या होता है? Information gain is a measure used to decide the order which attributes are tested in a decision tree. It quantifies how a particular attribute separates the data into classes. Mathematical expressions of information gain equal to minus summation of ni equal to 1 pi log base 2 pi. Gain SA entropy S minus summations of SV upon में S entropy SV. Gini index. Gini index is another metric used for evaluating slips in a decision tree. It measures the impurity or disorder of a set of data points. A lower Gini index indicates a more pure node. Mathematical expression of Gini index is Gini equal to 1 minus summation of I equal to O1 Ti whole square, where C is the number of classes and the probability of class I is the proportional of data points in the node that belongs to class I. Third है हमारा reduction in impurity. In the context of decision tree, the reduction in impurity measures how much the impurity decreases after a particular slip. It is used to assess the effectiveness of a slip. Common impurity measures include Gini impurity, entropy, classification error. Gini impurity, a lower Gini impurity indicates a low pure नोट. अगर लोअर इम्प्योरिटी होगी तो इंडिकेट करेगा प्योर नोट को. एंट्रोपी, लोअर एंट्रोपी signifies a more organized or pure node. Classification error, like Gini impurity, a lower classification error indicates a pure node. The reduction in impurity is used as criteria for selecting the best slips at each node during the tree building process. Mathematical expressions of reduction in impurity. First, I parent summation k I equals 1 d upon d dot I. Di parent is the Gini impurity of the parent node. K is the number of child node after the slip. Di is the data set of the ith child node. Di is the number of instances in the ith child node. D is the total number of instances in the parent node. I is the Gini impurity of the ith number child 4 से node. हमारा explain the concept of overfitting and tree tuning. Solution है हमारा overfitting is a common problem that needs to be handled by training is a decision tree model. Overfitting occurs when a model fits too closely to the training data and may become a less accurate when intercounting new data or predicting future outcomes. In a overfit condition, a model memorizes the noise of the training data and fails to capture the initial patterns. Key characteristics of overfitting includes high training accuracy, low test accuracy. The model may achieve very high accuracy on the training data but perform poorly on new unseen data. Complex models overfitting often occurs when the model is too complex, capturing noise in the training data. Memorizations, the model may memorize the training data instead of learning the general patterns. Tree pruning. Tree pruning is a technique used in decision tree algorithms, includes those for classification and regression. Decision trees make a tendency to grow expensive deep, capturing noise in the training data and leading to overfitting. Pruning is a process of removing parts of the tree that do not provide significant predictive power, thus simplify the model and improving its ability to generalize. An impure decision tree and a pure decision tree. Like it is a pure decision tree is the smallest and a bunch. There are two main types of tree pruning. Pre-pruning, early stopping. The involves stopping the tree building process before it becomes too complex. For example, you may be limit the maximum depth of the tree, the minimum number of samples required to slip a node, or the minimum number of samples in a leaf node. Post-pruning, pruning after construction. The involves growing the full tree and then removing and collapsing nodes that do not contribute significantly to the model predictive. More often is used in techniques like cost complexity pruning, where a cost function is used to assess the impact of removing a particular subtree. Tree pruning helps to prevent outfitting in a decision tree models, ensuring that the tree captures the initial patterns in the data without memorizing nodes. So, thank you.